Reggae Monday, you know. Oh, well, Mama, mama, should I have faith in you? Should I put my trust in you? And should you let me down? Should I float around? Why should I think this way? Thinking that you're going away. There ain't no way we'll stay together anymore. Am I to go on now, living this way? Acting like a child, so young and gay. Well, you don't know what it means to love. You don't know how it feels to love. Whoa, no. I've got to tell you this. Your life I've tried to resist, for I just can't go on like this, pretending each day. You make me feel so bad. You make me feel so sad and never I'm to share your love. How could I ever go on living this way? Acting like a child, so young and gay. Really, 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 you don't know what it means to love. You don't know how it feels to love. Whoa, no. Oh, yeah. How you feeling out there? You wanna know this one? Step aside now, another winner wants to take over. What is it, monster? Oh, well, this is no disrespect by the man. Well, step, alright. For you don't know what you got. Now it's time to lose it. Step aside now. Another man wants to take over. Yeah. For you don't know what you got. Now it's time to lose it. Tell me I'm crazy. Leaving us up. And she's a winner. So you whoa, feeling good. Don't know what to do. She will comfort you. She's a dream come true. She will be your friend. Think that it's the end. She's always around. Always around. Oh, well. Mama, mama, look here. I won't come down on you, boo, with lightning, brimstone, or fire. For in my heart there is all I require. My desire is for you to be true and strong. Then someday you'll get to know just where you went wrong. For I could ever go on living this way. Acting like a child, so young and gay. Really, 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 you don't know what it means to love. Well, actually, I'm here doing some recording, you know, with this new studio here, and Castro, who I've been working with for like years now in England, but he's now living in Jamaica, so it's just a continuation of that work from that time.
So how are the vibes so far?
Sweet, with Mr. Hammond, Mr. Maxi Priest, Mr. Reed, Juna Reed.
Yeah, nice this.
Sweet, you know. And
so,
have you ever been in love? Have you ever been in love before?
His extremely powerful and distinctive voice earned him the nickname The Boy Wonder, and later the Crown Prince of Reggae, a title endorsed by the King of Reggae himself, Bob Marley, who referred to him as his favorite singer. Dennis Brown's talent for the performing arts was somewhat of a birthright, as his father, Arthur Brown, was a prominent Jamaican actor. Performances at school concerts at the age of 9 marked the beginning of Brown's singing career. 2 years later, the child star had his first professional appearance when he performed at a local club alongside a group called the Fabulous Falcons. That performance earned him a spot in the group as a vocalist, and a performance at a JLP conference with the group changed the scope of Brown's career forever. The legendary Byron Lee, who was also featured on that show, was impressed by Brown's performance and later booked him to perform on shows where he was billed Boy Wonder. At around 12, Brown recorded his first song for producer Derek Harriott called Lips of Wine. That song wasn't released, however, a song called No Man is an Island was. The Coxsone Dodd produced cover of a song originally done by the American R&B group The Impressions was Brown's first hit song in Jamaica.
No man is an island, no man stands alone. Treat each man as your brother, and remember each man's dream as your own. That should be good enough.
Dennis Brown continued to work with Dodd, and by the age of 13, he had released 2 albums, No Man is an Island and If I Follow My Heart. Brown also worked with other producers, creating classics such as Silhouettes, Musical Heatwave, Let's Love In, and Black Magic Woman, among others, a few of which were featured on the album Super Reggae and Soul Hits, released in 1973 when Brown was 15 and still in school.
Sonia said she coming, but I don't believe a word she said, 'cause she ran away and left me one rainy day. She made me hate in mind that her love would never die, and now I'm alone, yeah, so alone, yeah.
While just a teenager, Brown was ready to show the world he wasn't only a child star. His song Money in My Pocket, which he had recorded in 1972 with a young producer and engineer Winston Niney Holness, was a hit in the United Kingdom and was the song that established his international reputation. Over the next 2 years, Jamaica was rocked by a stream of songs, all released on Holness's Observer label. The haunting Westbound Train, the powerful emotive Cassandra, and the evocative Africa are just a few. Some of those songs and a few unreleased songs were featured on the Just Dennis album, released in 1975. Brown cut his last song Tribulation with Holness that same year. By 1976, Dennis Brown's songwriting was razor sharp, and whether tackling social issues or lovers' concerns, his lyrics and delivery were always emotionally potent. Confident in his talent, Brown and business partner Holness parted ways. Dennis then founded his own label, the DEB Music Label. During this time, he also worked with other producers like Joe Gibbs, and by 1977 had released Visions of Dennis Brown, which featured hits like Milk and Honey. The Visions of Dennis Brown album ruled the UK reggae charts in September 1978 for 5 months, and that same year, Brown reunited with Holness. Together, they released the album Wolves and Leopards, the name of one of Brown's earlier massive hits.
Too much wagoners, too much antagonists. Wolves and leopards are trying to kill the sheep and the shepherd. Wolves and leopards are trying to kill the sheep and the shepherd, yeah.
The album did well in the UK, topping the Black Echoes charts and featured the classic Here I Come.
Here I come, we're coming out waiting. So be goodness and mercy to follow by all the days of my life.
The following year, the resurrected Money in My Pocket gave Brown his first UK Top 40 hit. Peaking at number 14, the song was one of the biggest international hits in Jamaica's history.
I get to be my own. So they said she coming, but I don't believe a word.
The success of Money in My Pocket led to Brown being featured on the cover of the February issue of the NME magazine. New Musical Express is one of the UK's most popular music magazines.
If I had the world, I'd give it to you, girl. If I had the world.
With continuing commercial success, Brown signed an international deal with A&M Records. At this point, the singer had migrated to London, and it was there he recorded his next 2 albums. The first album, Foul Play, was not a success, but had popular singles like the Roots track, The Existence of Jah. The second album, Love Has Found Its Way, which had music that blended lovers rock with pop, was not a great success either. Brown was losing touch with his audience. The follow-up album, The Prophet Rides Again, which fused roots themes with commercial R&B tracks, did little to change this situation.
I know he rides again. Boy, yeah, boy, the prophet rides again. Boy, yeah.
Brown's international career had hit a snag. However, he decided to capitalize on a new sound that was sweeping Jamaica: dancehall.
Do you know what it means to have a baby illusion?
Brown released several singles and albums during the 1980s, but his biggest success of the decade came in 1989. It was the Gussie Clark-produced duet with Gregory Isaacs called Big All Round, and the album Unchallenged. Brown continued his prolific career into the 1990s with mostly collaborations, notably on the 3 Against War album, released in 1995. While Brown's career was picking up pace, his health began to deteriorate. In May 1999, after touring in Brazil with other reggae singers, Brown was diagnosed with pneumonia. After returning to Kingston on the evening of June 30, 1999, he was rushed to the University Hospital, suffering from cardiac arrest. Brown died the next day, and the official cause of his death was a collapsed lung.
The promised land, going to the promised land. The promised land. Going to the
With a career spanning over 30 years, Dennis Brown had left behind an impressive catalogue of hit songs and around 75 albums. Jamaica has lost one of her greatest stars, but Brown's legacy lives on as new compilations, best of collections, and reissues continue to appear.
The promised land. Going to the promised land.
Greetings, welcome to Reggae Month 2024. Always a pleasure sharing with you at JaRIA Reggae Open University. My name is Colleen Douglas. I am really honored to be the host of the first Reggae Wednesdays. I have with me a very nice looking gentleman. His name is Steve Golding. Welcome, Steve, and thanks for spending time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I just want to say that we're streaming live on the JaRIA's YouTube platform, and we're also streaming on their Facebook platform. We're streaming as well on the PBCJ's YouTube channel, so welcome to those who are joining us online. We're also live on Best 100 FM, so I want to say hi to the radio listeners, and we hope that you keep tuned in as we celebrate Jamaica's Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Brown. On set with us, we have a couple of guests this evening, and on set with us we have Trevor Lego Douglas.
Lego Beast Douglas.
I tried to not to call him Lego Beast. He's receiving it, and we can't tell you why.
It means Lego Beast means freedom. Love who love me. I cannot be domesticated. I love who love me. Who don't love me. Have a nice day. Bless.
Steve, I know off camera we were talking to Lego a bit about Dennis's early days and how long he knew Dennis. Mm-hmm. And we just want to go into that, Lego, so that you can recall a little bit of your childhood memories with Dennis.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a childhood memories is not... See, I want to know Dennis, you know. He's a dancer, them call Chocomo, we call it Cheque when I was Kingston. It was a big PNP, Labour Right branch yard. And on a Sunday night time, we'd have a party around there. Until Mr. Siaga called the people and wear full black with candle and back, they used to get beaten for that. So you mark. So Pakai, Finos, bless him spirit. Mm-hmm. He used to carry Dennis on his shoulder. Come on, check it. Mm-hmm. See? And the whole of I said Dennis. And from that we love this little youth here.
Was he singing at that time?
Yeah man, Pakai, Finos carry on his shoulder.
What age did you hear him sing first?
Probably about 9, 10, nothing, probably 11 the most it could have been. Mm-hmm. Then now, Byron Lee used to keep a thing with Charlie Babcock, a Carib theatre named Nuggets for the Needy. Mr. Siaga was behind that, I believe, also. I mean, I tell you, King, when that little boy come sing, 5 more pounds for Dennis come back. 10 more pounds for Dennis come back. If you just love him. Well, 2 years ago and thing and in the Orange Street. But I know say my family used to live at Buddy Henriquez big yard in front of the fire station up Orange Street. Mm-hmm. Then his father used to live in there, Derek Morgan, Monty Morris. See? And Dennis knew Dennis from them time also. Mm-hmm. And from that we just have fun that. Mm-hmm. Then Coxsone keeping show award theatre, I remember Dennis come on stage and Bob Marley and the whole everyone at the back there. Man at Beach Chalice. And when Bob Bass Dennis comes, so boy, you hear me singer there? Mm-hmm. Come on, Dennis done him daily dance and woke up him singer. You know, see it's a film singer that.
Yeah. Come on, give thanks. Steve, I know today I listened to some really rich nuggets that you have from 2 women who knew Dennis when they were like children at Central.
Around that yeah, same time, because one of the women, my wife, remember him, and my sister also. Dawn, he would know her as Dawn, right? They all went to Central Branch together. Okay. So they remember him from that time. So Dawn's memory goes from that time to a little bit later on, but I can share that audio, you know, maybe to jog your memory a little bit, but I know you remember everything, you know. So I don't know, should we listen to Dawn? So, all right, this is Dawn Golding.
My favorite memory of Dennis is the fact that no matter where he saw me, he always greeted me. And we were coming from primary school days, but yet he never ever forgot me. I remember having entered Miss St. Anne back in the, what would I say, the late 60s, early 70s. And he saw me and greeted me just as warmly then as he ever did. And that continued throughout our lives until his passing. He will always be one of my favorites. Blessings, and may he always rest in peace.
Steve, you know what I have to say? I've really never heard anyone speak ill of Dennis.
is
What we
true.
hear a lot, he's like the nicest person ever to work with. He's the nicest graduate. Anything go so?
You see, Dennis, if Dennis do you something,
Yeah, I remember we're talking about
keep
that.
a show, and Dennis don't turn up. And you row one thing and you see, when you see him and him go so and laugh,
And bust a smile.
it done. See him? He was a youth where enough people take him the kindness to weakness. I witnessed that. And enough people jealous of him.
Yeah.
Enough people jealous of him. One individual, I don't even go call him name.
Don't.
But him jealous of Dennis, bad. And Gregory.
And before you go calling his name, Steve, what is your earliest memory of Dennis?
My earliest memory of Dennis don't go as far back as Lagos. Actually, my sister and my wife remember Dennis better than I do. But in my Fab 5 days, you know, we would have accompanied him and thing. What I remember is his father, more than anything else, being around theater business and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And he
Father was an actor.
always had him with him.
Yeah,
you
with
know,
Faye Bennett and Faye Bennett.
Yeah, and right. So,
That is Bam daughter.
Right.
Bim and Bam. She always have Dennis.
yeah, that is what I
yeah,
remember, but I
father,
didn't
yeah,
know him
yeah.
as a singer at that time.
And an actor to his father.
His father was an actor, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Comedian, I can laugh.
Yeah.
I actually think it's the first time hearing anyone speak about his parents in this kind of way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, the fact that, I don't know, it's like the children take after their parents once you're in the cultural creative industries.
Yeah,
It's
'cause it's right.
automatic because that's what you get introduced to.
Yeah. And Dennis, you make you laugh to him, give a joke like him father,
Yeah,
make
man.
you laugh.
Yeah,
you know.
man.
Yeah?
And that point that Lego make about the smile is not a joke, you know. Don't care what. Once Dennis smiled with you, you could have vexed him
You
more.
could have vexed me, come on.
It's
It's
true.
a skipper. And if they skipper and laugh. Yeah, you know, you see, it's a youth, we tour, 1977, a man named Tony Buller Market that tour come for Big Youth. And Big said, he asked Big Youth, he said the artist he want come. Big said, Dennis Brown, if Dennis Brown not come. It's the first time he that tour with him in England.
Yeah.
Boy, the man they mashed down Railroad, Bristol, Manchester, Newcastle, everywhere man, they
Everywhere
got
they
tear
go.
down crowd.
Yeah, man,
You see it?
we started out the program with live performances. I have to say that one of Dennis's daughters is actually here. She's not on set, she's not joining us on set. Nadine, it's her birthday as well. Happy birthday,
Happy
Nadine.
birthday, Nadine.
I won't share with you how old she is today, but old enough to have known her father and really reveling the essence of him. I liked what Grubb said to Steve about Dennis and working with him. Can we just share that before we go to our first break?
I had some amazing experiences with Dennis Brown because you know, he started quite young. Outside of the fact that Fab 5 played for D Brown a few times, and those were nice times. I booked him up at studio in Randy's and all of that, and we did some work together. But the thing that impressed me most about our meeting that really blew my mind, when I was going to the School of Agriculture, and Dennis Brown performed with Byron Lee at a graduation ball thing they had. And I realized that this young man is a real talent, confident, and I got to meet him. Could have been maybe 12, I don't recall, 12, 13. Voice was still up there because I remember that show he did. He did some foreign thing. He did Julia on My Mind, and his voice hadn't broken as yet. But that was amazing, and it was then I realized that this young man is real talent. And I was happy when his voice changed good. Because sometimes when you're a youth man, you don't know what kind of voice you're going to get once someone's kicking. But he came through very well, and we always had a cordial relationship every time. And, I met him a few times on tour. Nothing too fascinating about that, but like I said, that early meeting and the time in the studio. And playing for him with Fab Five was nice too, because, just like when you play for Delroy Wilson, you know the show is going to be great. Because, Dennis Brown take it to another level, just like Delroy. So those are some of my memories of the great D. Brown.
To Grub,
Cooper,
yeah, that
the
was Grub,
wonderful
yeah.
Grub Cooper.
It's interesting because chatting to Grub spoke about the influence, and you would know as a producer that Dennis felt accessible. This is Grub, these are Grub's words. Dennis felt accessible to most youngsters who wanted to sing because of his style and his ease, so a lot of people would try to imitate him, yeah.
Imitate him, not for them. Not for the singer them.
We give thanks, Lego, for always sharing in your friends' memories. It's really important that we call our loved ones' names. It's important that we never stop speaking about them so they can live on in the lives of all of us and those who didn't have the privilege of meeting him.
That's why when he died, we had to get him buried in a evil circle, We fight for that in a Jamaica house, And them asked, with Dennis Suckerberry, because we asked for a formal funeral. Miss Grange was there, Junior Lincoln, Freddie McGregor, Dennis' brother, and all of them. And when Mr. Goodis, Bonnie Goodis asked for, we said, Ewa Circle, Race Course, Tollmore, Georgia 50, the one and same place, Orange Street. And we fight feet and get it done.
Yeah,
We ask for a formal, we got an informal, but give praises.
Every time.
He's there and it's accessible for young
He's
people
accessible.
to
This is
go
important
and see
information to please.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So for anyone listening in and you were not aware that Dennis Brown is also buried in the National Heroes Park, right down below Crossroads there. So we continue this conversation. It's Acoustic Conversations as we celebrate the Crown Prince of Reggae. I'm with Steve Golding, my co-host. You have just been talking to, he calls himself Lego Beast. His parents named him Trevor Douglas, a long-time brethren of Dennis. And we're going to give you something of Dennis acoustically from some younger people.
Intonation.
This is Gussie Clark, music producer. My favorite Dennis Brown song.
We give thanks for wonderful music and great musicians, Intonation, who've become JaRIA's house band, led by JaRIA's chairman, Mr. Ewan Simpson, and some wonderful people who we will name at some point, sharing with us with Dennis Brown. So we are joined by a great man, a wonderful man.
Canon.
Canon Fraser.
Formerly Youth Sax. Long ago.
For those who don't know him like a long, long time ago, his name is Mr. Dean Fraser.
Oh, yes, right.
Give thanks, Dean, for joining. Steve, are your friends still, so you can talk to your friend?
No, Dean, we can't do Dean like over the Lego, Just
No.
make him tell me about
and
D Brown.
He won't Lego.
I don't want Lego.
So you've toured with Dennis. Yeah. What you want to talk about Dennis, the professional musician? Was he professional?
Very. This is like the nicest brethren for play for, This. I've been there with him maybe, let's say 10 years. And I don't remember ever, like one time, seeing Dennis not smiling. You understand me? Dennis Brown was just the real thing, And I remember I was going to England some time ago, maybe 79. I was just a little boy at the time. And, when we arrived, at Heathrow and all of that, I have to say, wait, because you think the king come. Because, me I talk about the king, it look like every time, because all Rolls Royce cars pulled up. And, we had all these guys in the scissors tail kind of thing, and them open the door for you, and I'm like, what's happening here? This is just a little boy from out of Trenchtown, reach England, and the music up on the level. And when you look, D Brown don't even come to the car, You just see some other people come and D Brown just gone. And
I have to ask though.
Yeah.
You know, they say a king's not necessarily honored in his own country.
Yeah.
What was the treatment like here? When you compare that kind of royal treatment.
No man, it was night and day. We were treated with so much respect, and you really felt more than being home. It was really, really nice. And I remember that evening, I was not even settled in the hotel properly. Dennis have some man ready for record. So a studio session, I go down now and we don't start tour yet, So it was just music upon, and of course that's where I met Zeb, drummer Zeb, because he was the session drummer at the time. But we just recorded, and I remember we recorded a song written by China Smith.
Whoa, that I never knew.
Bloody City, I remember we recorded that song on that tour. And then, when it was like time for show, like when it was show time, this brethren was just, the most fantastic human. Him come out, you say love, you say people just wanting to touch him. You understand me? You just hear him just sing. This man just, I was on tour also in the US with him, and the newspaper the next day said this is the best tenor voice in the world, So, all these things happened. And then what really blew my mind was in the middle of the concert, I just happened to glance over my shoulder, and Bob Marley was just getting crazy. It's
so interesting because Lego mentioned that Bob would say that Dennis
was his singer.
Yeah. Because Bob at the time was somewhere in England and heard Dennis Brown was coming to the venue. That's the name of the venue. And when I glanced over, Bob was there skanking, you know. Inner Circle was there too, because they were doing a super tour with Jacob Miller too at the time. But yeah, man, and I was just, well, I was freaking out. I didn't show anybody the signs, but you know.
You know, Dean, one of the important things about what you're saying here now is the esteem with which the music is held, you know. And it is important that witnesses like yourself, you know, share that, because a couple years later, on the road with Peter in London, D. Brown came to Peter's show, and the same kind of regard for each other, you know, and that is so very important.
Of
so
course.
I'm glad.
And we also, at the Mount Road Jazz Festival, it was, for the first time for me, it was Steel Pulse, Dennis Brown, and Peter Tosh. And I remember the heights that the concert reached, where Peter invited D. Brown and David Hines and myself, Namba Robinson, everybody was on stage. And, you know, Lydie, we were, you know, double, you know, Mikey Chung, every man was there. And the people got so wild, you know. They had to get the police to take them out of the concert hall. You know, these were just...
Seeing all them heroes on stage at the same time.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, at that time also...
That's audience, by the way, this is how I'm feeling. Being sandwiched by the heroes, the Dean Fraser saxophonist. You never introduced yourself. But it's a good thing, it's a good thing. Steve Golden actually played rhythm guitar for Peter Tosh.
And vocals, background vocals.
A little bit, I noticed. I'll observe that.
Some percussion too, you know.
I want to come back, but I want to remind, if you're just joining us, I know you're tuned in perhaps to PBCJ YouTube's channel, JaRIA's YouTube or Facebook channel, or on Best FM. This is Reggae Open University, brought to you by the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association through the kind support of some friends, including the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, the JCDC, PBCJ, and of course we have lots of other people who support Reggae Month that we'll tell you about, and we go back to the conversation.
Yeah, well, back to Dean.
Yeah,
you know, and
Stephen, I must say that one of the nicest tour was touring with yourself, Peter Tosh, and Dennis Brown. It was about 85, 86.
It would have been, no, it can't be 85, 86. It would have been maybe like 80, 82 or 83.
It would be 82 or 83. I remember though, because I remember I was somewhere in Halfway Tree, and somebody could say, hey, like him say, co-plan or somebody looking for you. And I said, what's going on? And so I tuned in to our headquarters down in front of State Theatre at the time. And Lydie said, go pack your thing, we have to reach LA by 7 p.m. on Saturday. And I said, so why 7 p.m.? He said, that's the time that Dennis go on. And we had not rehearsed maybe in a year. And so Dennis was flying in from England, and we coming from Jamaica, and we just got there, pop, went on stage, and we put on a little thing, you know. And of course, you know, it was really exciting to see Peter at the time, and we did that. But then by the next day, we got up to the level that we were normally at, you know. Nice. And it was just beautiful, and we stayed on the road 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least.
That was just fantastic.
Those days were extended.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
Peter used to spend at least 3-4 months on the road.
Yeah.
Same with, you know.
So,
sorry, go ahead. Oh.
I remember hearing Gussie Clark talk earlier on, speak a little bit earlier on about Dennis Brown. I want to share that a little bit, because I think if it's one thing you're hearing, I always talk about eulogy virtues. What will people say about you when you die? You know, and Dennis definitely knew what was going on. So let's hear from Gussie.
Hi, this is Gussie Clark, music producer. My favorite Dennis Brown song of all time is Love Has Found Its Way. From the first time I heard that song, it was so different. It was so pop. It took Dennis a little bit out of his norm and comfort zone. And as usual, he delivered it comfortably. The song was simple, and the song was just such a great song that even until this day, it is still my favorite Dennis Brown of all time.
You know, that's about favorites. You know?
No, that song carried me right back to the day that song was made.
That's what your own section.
It was my band actually. It was We the People that laid that track. It was Devon Richardson. It was produced by Willie Lindo. So it was Devon Richardson, Lloyd Parks, Winston Bowen, Bo P, Bob Lawal.
The original.
Yes, it was the original We the
original
People.
We the People.
Exactly, with Willie Lindo as the producer, arranger. And I remember us, being there, the rhythm was laid and all of that, and Dennis did a little rough and all of that, and then he said the horns. So I remember me, Nambo Chico, and David Martin, of course, and this song just came out beautiful. It was, as Gussie said, it was a little poppy, and so we got into that little funk kind of ba 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 ba, and boy, I remember, was it Cynthia Sloss, Sharon, Dawn, maybe it was Beres Hammond that
The
did
backup vocals.
Yes, Sharon Forrester, Dawn Forrester, Beres Hammond.
Names that people don't even remember.
Yeah.
Names that people don't even remember. One day, I tell you all the while, D, and I know this is about D Brown, but persons like yourself are obligated to make notes of these things, really, because we don't know those names.
Yeah.
I mean, I happen to know the Forresters personally,
Right.
but it's important.
Yeah, but they were just beautiful on that Love Has Found Its Way track.
It is.
It was
it is.
really,
No,
really.
That is good information too, because
Yeah.
now you know why the song sounded the way it sounded.
Yeah.
What's your favorite track?
For D Brown? Well, that's a hard question, but no.
No, I got that a lot today.
Yeah, but I really, my song is just totally different. I really think that Bloody City song is my song. You understand?
You have to go find it for
It
us.
says, "Would be under the bloody city."
That's a China song.
Robbers, lions, and thieves. Right?
What year was that?
It
The same
had
time.
to be
1979,
79, 80.
Okay, so we get the music reflecting what was happening in the
Yeah. And China would have written about that anyway.
Yes. So, and that studio session was just, me for the first time recording, away, out of Jamaica. And, so I just loved the groove. I just loved what Dennis Brown did, and it was more of a jam to me. As much as it was something arranged, but it was like a nice jam. D Brown was at the top of it. I think that
voice
at that time was just.
Grub mentioned it too when just changed, just a ton big man now. That sound.
The voice at that time, you understand?
Beautiful song.
Tell me, what would you like to see happen for Dennis? Do you think we celebrate him enough?
No, I don't think so. I think he should be respected much more. Look at it, simple. Bob Marley is seen as the king. But let me tell you something. people love Dennis Brown at Jamaica like it's spoiled. You understand what I said? And even kids who don't know him, and them just love Dee Brown. And you know, we can't get away from that. And he, this vocal is just an amazing vocal. It's just wicked. And you know, we must really tell people, say, yo, this man is a yard man, this man is a Jamaican, this man is good.
I'm good, yeah, man. we hesitate to say that we're good.
Like we're free,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that is true.
That youth could sing beside anybody.
Listen to Wichita Line, man. Listen
Yes,
to them kind of songs.
I was listening to it today.
I remember one of my students, I used to use his cover of Silhouette as a part of my guitar class, you know, and a famous TV host, right, who shall remain nameless because it could be a little bit intense, you know, was one of my students.
Right.
And we run down the Silhouette, and after you learn a couple little cards and things, we run the Silhouette and thing, and so, boy, you know, that with you, know, uncle, hear them whole tune they want to. So I say, you know Dee Brown Silhouette? I said, no. I say, all right, take this and go and go listen.
Yeah.
So the next day,
it's a different.
Why? And them thing them man they did a sing about them days. It just him gave that song new life. He gave that. I mean, all of his covers, but that particular, for me, he gave that song a new life.
Well, I have to tell you the truth though. That would bring me to my second favorite song, which was "Let Me Down Easy." Now, "Let Me Down Easy," Dee Brown does deal with it wicked. You understand me? I say, and then that the whole No Gen movement, that whole Val Douglas bass line. You understand me? It was just amazing.
That is a musician again. That don't even get them props.
Just amazing.
I know we have to have a show about the musicians.
Of course,
most definitely.
Most definitely. Of course.
You know it go. You're always busy.
Love it.
I won't tell them what you are to me. But we give thanks for just your generosity of spirit and coming to honor your brethren despite a very busy schedule. So.
And we must just tell people, say, just remember Dee Brown on a level.
Always.
Good.
You know, always.
Thank you. Dean Fraser, thank you so much for sharing with us. We go to another break and we enjoy another acoustic set.
Yes.
Songbird, we're so honored to have you with us. Tell us about that song or your music. What does it mean for you as an artist?
As a young artist, I mean, I feel like I've missed out, you know, because there's a big age gap between Dennis Brown music and the music nowadays. But I feel like his music replicates on me or within me, you know, is sound, the same sound I've been trying to mimic, reflect, you know, that's what it is for me, Dennis Brown.
We love that. And we encourage you, keep doing your music, keep being inspired, and keep just being beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. the same way. There must be a change somehow. There are bad times and good times too. So have a little faith in what you do. Oh yeah.
We're still here. Acoustic conversations as we celebrate the only one crown prince of reggae, Mr. Dennis Emmanuel Brown. Thank you for staying with us. And for those who've just joined, it is JaRIA, the first of JaRIA's Reggae Open University that we have every Thursday in February, right here in the studios of PBCJ. We want to thank all of the partners who made this possible. And for those who are tuned in on YouTube, on Best FM, big up on yourself. Thank you for staying. We have some wonderful people who've joined us who call themselves friends. Steve.
Yes.
I should say I'm Colleen Douglas. You know, you have to say those things just in case someone wants to hire you. And with
Makes
me
sense.
is Mr. Steve Golden. Joining us is Professor Donna Hope.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing space. And I'm not sure why he's looking at you like that, like I'm sitting beside her.
That's sweet.
Is Mr. Ryan
exactly
Bailey.
What I feel, you know.
Mr. Ryan Rebel Salute Bailey. Who wrap up the people then when we don't want him to wrap up the people then. But Ryan, you were singing along.
Yes. And
Why?
I was actually singing along to one of my very favorite D Brown songs. Beautiful song, great melody, and what a voice. What a voice.
And I should say, what a voice, Jenny. Let's big up the young
Yeah,
artist
Jenny,
that
very
performed.
She was absolutely brilliant.
And the wonderful musicians, me soon call them name, but you know it go. We have to go with the time. The producer is in my ear. So Donna, you don't mind. I'm going to start with Ryan because then Steve can talk to you. He's always wanted to talk to you. So Ryan, me feel say you're too young for did know Dennis any kind of way.
Well, for me, I have been so fortunate to have been exposed and to work with really a whole heap of great people, from Fully Fullwood, Santa Davis, Tony Chin, some whole heap of people because of the people that I was exposed to. How I got my opportunity to work with Dennis was that I have a whole heap of big man friend, and I was under the tutelage of a man called Rap Rose, who is the brother of Michael Rose from Black Uhuru fame. So Rap was, and still is, producer of live shows as well as records. So Dennis and at the time it was Lloyd Parks and We the People came to do some shows in Canada. So I have big man friends, so you have to do big man things too. So I put my little much and I was there. And I got the opportunity to meet live and in person the nicest human being that I've ever met. He was so polite and so kind and looking out for everybody else that was around him, excluding himself. And I thought that that was a beautiful thing in one way, but it was also sad on the other hand, because he was always ensuring that everyone else was fine. And so that was really my opportunity. And that connection is something that has left an indelible mark on my life and something that I can treasure. Being one of the diaspora Jamaicans, of course, Dennis Brown music often playing in your house. My father is a lover of music and lover of reggae music and a lover of a brethren that was that I should say that is connected to reggae by virtue of the song One Love. So you know that my name escaped me now, but the Impressions.
Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield. So my father always played Curtis Mayfield, and as such, I always have to play the songs from home. And so Bob Marley was of course a mainstay, and Dennis Brown, and everybody loved Dennis. So when I met Dennis, it was like, man, Jano, I'm starstruck, because I was obviously enamored by the artist as well as the art. And so, you know, we learned some really beautiful things. I remember being at Pearson International Airport in Toronto, and the man pulled out a guitar, and his man just started singing. And by the time the man starts singing, there's people that gather around, and you know, that's an amazing human being, man. And I'm really thankful that I got the opportunity to meet him in the flesh.
Nice, nice. It's good to hear somebody from your generation talking about Dee Brown, and especially the mention of the guitar, because a lot of the singers in those days, and Dee Brown was a pretty good guitarist, you know, so that's an important point to make, you know.
Yeah,
that,
and I remember he had a little, like a Casio keyboard too.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I remember we went to Montreal, and you know, Montreal from Toronto is like a 5-hour drive. And so on the drive, and I'm sleep, and I wake up, and I'm doing thing, man. So you know, it was really a beautiful moment, and I got the chance to see him again in Florida. Actually, the last set of shows that he did, I bore witness to that. And you know, I feel fortunate and lucky. And obviously,
I think he's fortunate and lucky.
I know that.
Very lucky. Let me go to the not so lucky one. She never meet Dennis yet. She never come from Fairlico Parish yet.
No, remember that I'm from St. Catherine, I'm from Linstead, and my family was poor, so I would not have gotten a chance to meet Dennis or to see him perform because of a lot of things that were happening. But in terms of listening to his music, because my mother was a woman, a working class woman who read a lot, loved the music, played the music, and talked about the music a lot. So I was always listening to Jamaican music, listening to reggae music, listening to all of the songs that were going on. So we were caught up with Jamaican culture in a lot of ways. And my mother sold it to us as a part of who we are and something that we should be proud of. She was always clear about that. And so in a lot of ways, when I eventually started doing my own work, I mean, I attended his funeral, for example, you know, but because it became important to me to understand the dynamics of the music and to understand these men and these women who we are going to events and listening to their music and enjoying ourselves, trying to figure out who they are and what the contribution that they really are making means to my generation and to generations that are coming after. So I didn't get to meet him in person, but the music, which is what carries their legacy and their, you know, the aura that they give to us, that is what many of us had to use to get connected to these musicians, and we are grateful for it.
Donna said something that struck me that I thought I should ask you as a musician, Steve. Well, but more so what Ryan said about Dennis's ability to play the guitar and his keyboards. Does it make you a better musician, a better performer,
a better singer? You understand
singer,
what music is all about. I believe I'm not a singer myself, right? So, but a lot of us musicians have observed that singers who play have a greater understanding of the craft.
I think because they understand the connection between the musicality and the lyrics and the performance.
And the performance, yes, exactly so.
And the voicing of where you're going. So the understanding is there. And I think that for an artist like Dennis, such an amazing storyteller, you know, I think I'm glad to say he understood how to play instruments as well, because he was equally comfortable with songs about revolution as he was in singing about songs. Baby, I Love You. So, you know, I think that kind of the ability to play and then to interpret the music in a particular way afforded him that chance to work with the lyrics so he can really caress the song and massage it in a particular way, you know?
I like how him gone, you know, because we need to talk about Dennis' lyrics a little bit.
I had a question for the professor, you know, in that as one who had not met Dennis, but pardon the incorrect use of words, but from academia, looking into the culture from that perch.
Before I went to academia, I was a human being running around.
No, I understand all of that. I understand
enjoying
that.
the music.
That's exactly my point. So therefore, the study that you would bring to our culture and to our music, in this case Dennis Brown, how could we better relate to a D. Brown and so in the classroom or in an academic setting to, what is the correct word, to make curriculmize the type of things that could...
To add into the curriculum so that others who have never met you.
Exactly.
The challenge we have is that, and I find listening to the conversation that you were having with Dean Freeze and with Lego, and now with Rand yourself, people who have met Dennis Brown and have worked with him, I find that a lot of these stories are not well captured. So we will have these conversations and you'll talk about him, but then I would probably have to get a recording and transcribe it to pass it on to my students. So we need, one of the things we have to be doing now is to document in a very direct way some of these conversations, because what you have on the internet is a very static kind of presentation of ways, more about his career and his, what he did. But what I listened to earlier brought more depth and breadth to him as a person, the kind of, what aura he exuded, the people he pulled to him and how he did that. One of the things that I got from reading about him and doing a lot of research is the energy he brought. Very energetic, very busy and kind of hip-hopping across a lot of borders. And even what we listened to, being able to blend with different music forms. Remember, he was working with different music forms, even did work with the early dancehall and all of that. So he was a very busy person for the entire breadth of his career, and that is something that the young people that I teach, my students are in their 20s, the undergraduates. Yesterday I had a class and I said, well, tomorrow is a special day. None of them knew what the day was. Right, and so we have to be having conversations with them to teach them about these people who are very important in their history. But we really need to pull together in a curriculum this information, but we need to also have documentation that we can use in the formal setting, because people need to be able to read. We show the pictures online, that we get online, but people need to be able to read a sort of biography of the man, talking about his musicality, talking about how he developed his skill, and of course, lionizing him and celebrating him for the contribution he has made and the broad legacy of music and the repertoire that he has left with us. That is not celebrated enough.
Give thanks. Thank you, Donna, for that. I think it's really, really important, and may his soul continue to rest in peace, Dennis, but may Ibo's soul rest in peace. When JaRIA just started and we decided to do the Open University, this was Ibo, and one of his objectives was really to celebrate musicians who you see front of stage, who you see behind the main acts, so producers, engineers, everybody. I do think one of the ways we preserve music is that kind of archiving. We have Jamaica Music Museum, but making sure that young people have access.
And the matter of archiving, sorry to cut, the matter of archiving, as you just articulated, right? These types of programs, right, must be saved. We won't go into what has happened to some of Miss Lou's tapes and so on.
No, we won't. They have disappeared.
Right.
And it's so my point is,
we're right here. This is the original, in this particular, this is the original JBC studio. This is the original studio. Before that building was built, a lot of people don't know that.
Well, I think we should give a lot of credit to the work that JaRIA has been doing.
That is where I was going.
And I think that if we're able, or JaRIA is able, to communicate this very important message to the schools and taking it from the basic level on up, I think that we would be serving our creative industry well. And I think the next generation of creatives and Jamaicans at large will benefit from this.
We charge your generation, sorry.
Yes, but the thing is that because we're in a very competitive environment, you see the ears and eyes of young people are captured with so many different things, and so we have to meet them where they are. And package it in a way.
That is where I was going. That is because
I
charge your generation, or we would charge your generation with all the technology that you know about that is new to us, certainly to me, make sure that these types of recordings are preserved.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not negate the touch points of the simple things, and I always challenge corporate Jamaica. Have a song competition. Children like to win things. You can do a D. Brown song competition like we do.
Most definitely.
All of those little things, because you are teaching it to them. Because the truth is, most of them will not hear it It's amazing how we say we love Dennis, but how much Dennis you hear on radio, really?
But that's the challenge, Colleen, because when we say these things, one of the ways that you get these things going forward is that there has to be a steward over this Dennis Brown push. So saying it into the cosmos and leaving it there doesn't move it anywhere. Who will be the the energy behind it? Who will be the person that arranges this competition and accesses the kind of sponsorship from corporate and elsewhere? So it's good to talk about it, but to bring the process so that it can bear fruit, there has to be a steward.
You know, we
or
have a model.
steward over there.
We have a model.
Yes.
We have a model. February 6th, everything is about Marley up by the museum. So we have a model where family step up and insist that you remember this man who meant so much to the world.
Family coming from a point of view or from a vantage point of the patriarch, for want of another word, and his matriarch, having the vision and having had the success, material success, to sustain this thing that is happening now. Sadly, I don't know that the Dennis Brown Foundation legacy.
One of the things that I saw coming up, because I looked at some of it, there was a Dennis Brown Trust that was formed in 2002, and they started having scholarship programs for people at Central Branch and at Edna. But it is not something that is made visible in a lot of ways, maybe to the small audiences. You don't read about it, you don't hear about it. There were a couple concerts that were held out of that same trust here and in New York.
Junior Lincoln, who is
I know Junior and others were on it, but you don't hear, what I'm saying, it doesn't, if a tree falls in the forest and you don't hear it, did it fall? We don't hear about it, we don't know much about it. You have to search to find the information. And so that means that somehow it's not being passed on to the other generation, the succeeding generation, so they understand the value of it. And so what he's saying is that, Stephen is saying is that this matriarch who is connected directly to the patriarch and then who may oversee beyond his life the legacy and push it forward and also monetize it is important.
We have to talk to Nadine and Marla and
that's the important part.
All of them.
Somebody has to be the hero or the heroine in this structure so that the structure can thrive. It can't just be left to people.
And it's
who have
also
other
a community.
to do.
Let's admit it. It's a community, because when I think about it, in as much as I'm so into music, I don't know how much time a year when I go to Rosarella will tell you, I'm like, only one time for music you can play, and I will insist that you play a balanced, but how much of that can we do? So even if we think of the individual responsibility of what do you do to celebrate and honor Dennis Brown? I'm not going to say, but I have gone to courses where you have the story of Bob, for instance.
Entire courses.
And they continue to do that. I mean, Edna does history of Jamaican music, so it's a little bit more inclusive of the whole and not just one. So I think we should consciously, that's what I'd love for you to do, Professor
I wrote 2 courses when I came back with my PhD, coming out of my work. One is dancehall focus and the other is Jamaican popular music, culture, gender and sexuality. A couple of my students are in this room. And what happens is that you put in it, but the students have to be introduced, because when you talk to students who are now 20 and you ask them, name a reggae artist, name a dancehall artist, they call the name. February 6th name is one name they call. They know this name, however their age, Bob Marley. And then they'll talk about dancehall artists who are now contemporary. So they have a better view of the span of dancehall artists. They'll talk about older ones. But for the reggae genre, you have to spend a lot of time. And when we get back to Mentor and Scan Rocksteady, I spend the entire classes teaching them the sound of the music. That's not what the course is about, So we need a history of Jamaican music course. We also need courses on individual contributors to the music fraternity. And we also need people, because I believe in books, I've written 7 books. Write a book. It's very important.
Boy,
Bob Marley is the most written about figure or entity in Jamaican popular music.
She did go Carrimack, so she know how radio and TV go, and we give thanks, but we're going to come right back to the conversation. But we're going to, it's the first in the series of Reggae Open University. We're right here in PBCJ studio. Ryan Bailey has joined us, so has Professor Donna Hope, and Steve Golden is still with me, my good brethren. We going to some music acoustically of Dennis Brown.
causes us to make such big promises, eh?
Indeed.
The whole world. What's your take on that? What's your interpretation of giving the world to somebody that you love?
It's a start. but, but in all seriousness, musicians tend to speak in ways that, you know, they can embellish on things. But we understand and we understood where D Brown and the writers of that song were coming from when they said, if I had the world, I would give it to you. It shows the level of love that they're trying to express to a particular person, you know? So if I had everything, I would give it to you.
And this is not new to the legend Dennis Brown.
Not at all.
In many songs, he has done that and spoken to those things. Tell me what your take is on the significance of legends like this in reggae music and in taking it forward.
Let me tell you, in my personal opinion, Dennis Brown is the greatest vocalist to ever grace reggae music. None before, none after. I don't know if anyone is out there now, but I have not heard them. Dennis Brown is the greatest vocalist to ever do reggae music. Full stop.
Thank you so much for your respect and blessing of his music and your performance.
Blessed love.
Love, 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 la, la, la. Oh, oh, if I follow my heart, I'm gonna love you. Love you, love you. If I follow my tears, I'm gonna need But if I follow my eyes when it's crying time, I'll be crying too well. And if I follow what mom says, we'll be through. We will be through. If I follow my heart, I'm gonna love you. Love you, love you. And if I follow my tears, I'm gonna need you, I'm gonna, well, and if I follow my eyes when it's crying time, I'll be crying too well. If I follow what mom says, girl, we will be through. We will be through. Have you ever been in that type of love? That type of love where you feel like you're gonna just take out your loss, your everything, and get to somebody else? Have you? Not really, have you? give your sympathy. When I'm exhausted, feeling low, I always know just where to go. You touch my hand, you always understand the little things that hurt me inside. Father, Father, I thank thee for sending me this heavenly guide. I say, when I'm in misery, girl, it's just you that I see. Oh, and now, you drive away the pain from me. Sometimes you like cocaine, baby. Oh, oh, if I had the word, I say, I give it to you, girl. If I had the world, if I had the world, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. If I had the world, if I had the world, I'd give it to you. I said I'd give it to you, girl. If I had the world, if I had the world, I'd give it to you. Come on, come on, come on. If I had, I'd give it to you. I said I'd give it to you, girl. If I had the world, I'd give it to you.
Reggae Open University, as we have an acoustic conversation about Dennis Emmanuel Brown, the Crown Prince of Reggae. I know those who are tuned in on the radio audience, we only have 5 minutes left with you, but for those of you who are joining us on YouTube and on Facebook, we have another 20 minutes with you, so please stay tuned. And remember, drop your comments and follow the People M page while you're at it. So if you're on the YouTube, make sure you subscribe to both PBCJ and JaRIA. Let us consciously support the ones who are doing the work. JaRIA is hard work, by the way, because a little bit of way, but we're not doing it for the likes. We're doing it because we love music and we want to make sure that it's preserved. Steve Golden agrees with everything I say, so he's just going to nod and smile.
But 100%, because we have to support the platforms that are exposing the culture, reminding us of the culture, teaching us about the culture. So I'm with you 100%.
And share it. Donna and Ryan are still here, but forgive me, I really want to big up the musician them. It's Intonation Band, but we need to call their names.
The names.
On keys, on the grand, his name is Brinton Horton. He also did some vocals. Bass is Carlton Jarrett, and I have to say that he's a graduate of the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. The violinist is Kamai Gordon. He's actually JaRIA's musician rep, and can I say he's a graduate of the Edna Manley College?
Yes.
Guitar, Othniel Halliburton happens to be the chair of this committee, the committee that plans this education committee. We just call him Neil, but him name fancy, Othniel Halliburton. He come from your side of Bush. But he's guitar, but he really does a lot of work with ROU. Big up yourself, Neil. And can I say that he's a graduate of the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts? They're not sponsors. Tafane Bushikab is on, is what, a sax?
Baritone sax.
On baritone sax. And I see the detail where I get here. Baritone sax. And Mr. Ewan Simpson, who really is an attorney part-time and is really a musician on Congo and vocals. And of course we had Oshin Levy from, you remember Levi's Heritage? Yeah, that's Oshin.
Gospel group.
Yes, so we just want to celebrate the musicians who were honoring the Crown Prince. And as we talk about celebrating our own
And I just want to add that Ewan Simpson is a graduate of the University of the West Indies.
I'm a graduate of, listen, I just know, she put in all the graduates. Listen, I am a graduate of the University of the West Indies, but I'm also a graduate of the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. The truth is, these two institutions are big institutions who are supporting the cultural and creative industries, and we big up all of the hard workers there. Hello. Don't do it again.
Thank you.
But we're going to do that. So we want to go back and talk about, I wanted, if you don't mind, Mikey Bennett was sharing some things about Dennis Brown, and I think maybe a good lead into what we want to talk about.
It could be. It shows another side of Dennis.
And we like Mikey.
So Gussie Clark, who at the time was my publisher, was doing an album with Dennis Brown and asked me to write a couple songs. Wrote this song, and it purposely didn't sound like anything that Dennis Brown had ever done before. But for that reason, everybody kind of liked it. So we're in the studio now, and Gussie asked me to, insisted that I take the session, that I, record the vocal. So I was there, working on him, going on nice. But there's this particular phrase in the song that set it up, to sound different. And every time he got to it, maybe he hadn't done enough homework. He went into one of his usual, reflexive phrases and things that made it sound like other Dennis Brown songs. And I kept insisting that, no, that's not how I want that note. I don't want that note. And so one time him came down, so I thought, yeah, we okay now. Came down, coming down, singing the thing, and then got to the point. And I don't know if him just forgot, but him went back into the wrong melody then. So I stopped the tape and said, no, boss, listen, hear it again. And I sang it again for him. And he said, okay, all right. He did it again, but still didn't get it right. So I stopped again. Now, it was the first time I was working with Dennis Brown. He didn't know me. He just heard that I...
You want to be polite to the radio audience. Best FM, thank you so much for supporting Reggae Month. They will be with us for all month long, so thank you so much. We say goodbye to those on the radio, and we continue our conversation. We'll continue with Mike here.
We can continue with Mike.
Please and thanks.
So, came back again, so I stopped the thing and said, all right, let me sing it again for you. And I insist that you do that part. And there was a pause in the studio that everybody remember. Everybody just got quiet because you could see like attitude, like, is we shoot this? I mean, that was how I interpreted it. And I look at Gussie and Gussie said, no, can't just make him do it. And the biggest joy is when he actually did it and realized how good it was. Him came out into the control room and said, listen, let me hear this again. And him smiled and said, boy, you're right. And right away, there was this confidence exchange. In other words, I know, so your ear's good and you're listening out. So, and that is one of the greatest things. And later on, him said to me, I hope you have your own tape, because I want you and I do some work. And we ended up doing 2 albums together. And Dennis Brown became a really good friend of mine.
Mikey.
The side of D. Brown, that work ethic.
Yes.
Here's this young arranger, writer, Mikey Bennett, that more than like, well, he didn't know, but the fact that Gussie had confidence in this person, his willingness, you know, to work along with the person. And as you can hear Mikey talk about, and that song Poison, the Belle Biv DeVoe cover, Mikey produced that, you know, with him and Brian and Tony. So you can see the nature of the relationship that came out of it. The level of humility that Dean spoke about, that Lego spoke about, you know, and that smile. I can't just see him walking around into the studio and say, yes, youth, you did right. You know, that was just D Brown.
But he sounded like a very professional. He was very professional
in his approach, right?
Yeah, in his approach to his craft and willingness to allow others to ensure that he produced a product that was excellent at all times. So that's important for all musicians.
And if I may, he did that with a certain pride. The way that I'm dressed today is kind of to represent what I saw in this man when he was going on the stage. The man dressed good, the man smelled good, and he was kind. So he would be speaking. I know some don't know you from nowhere. A part of it, you have to meet the public, you have to meet the people, you have to communicate what it is that you want your message to be. And trust me, man, I saw the reaction from the audience when Deb step out there.
When him step on stage.
When him step on, you saw it, and you see that he took pride in how he delivered. He
presented himself. That is true. That is very true.
I think that we ought to be respectful of that and to talk about it too. How do you carry yourself? How do you present the art so that it's appealing? How do you expand the market and your base that you have? And I think Dennis Brown did a really great job in that, you know, not only in his vocal styling, but also how
presentation, overall present. That is true. That is true.
Did I ask you what's your favorite Dennis Brown, Donna?
My favorite Dennis Brown is Should I?
Yes,
that one. And I was played at my wedding when I did the wedding thing. It was one of the wedding songs.
We'll talk about that off air. I understand the wedding thing with me.
No,
but it's good.
I love this song.
Because if you don't hear D Brown anywhere else, you're going to hear D Brown at one wedding.
That is true.
He was, Lovers Rock was really one of the areas that he excelled in. And a lot of us grew up, yes, the rebel music, but he was more acclaimed for many of us for the Lovers Rock. Jamaicans love R&B, love songs, soul music.
What's your second favorite?
Yes.
It's not every day we're gonna be the same way. It's a beautiful song. That's my song.
What, you can sing like a bit though?
What can I sing?
Okay, I go to church. Steve, you didn't tell us what was your favorite song.
I was playing Should I? Sorry.
Should I?
That's your favorite song.
No, not necessarily.
It's refreshing his mind, yeah.
To be honest, I just think what Ryan spoke about, just seeing Dennis on stage. I don't know that I have a favorite, but that Promised Land, that thing with Aswad. I tell you, I have it on this machine here. Dean gone. I don't know what that thing is that happened at the start of it. Right, with the horns and the way the vocals came in. I kind of wish
we could have begged the selector play up It's a Promise Land, because that is my favorite.
I have it.
You know, so those of you at home play It's a Promise Land.
I have them here, but them turn me off.
I can't really dance, but I can dance to that.
Okay.
I don't know how it goes. They cool. But yeah, that's actually my favorite, Dennis Brown.
And I understand that wasn't meant to be a Dennis song per se. Now that's what I understand. I understand that it was an Aswad song. It was an Aswad tune that them play, and then he went on the rhythm with it. That's perfect.
Aswad was running stuff in England them times.
Yeah, man.
Really
Point of note, somebody need to bring back Aswad to Jamaica.
Oh, we
next January.
Everybody looking at Ryan, you know. Look over there. Look at him. Ryan can do that, right?
But yes,
look over there.
So one of the things that we were talking about earlier on with Dean is what everybody said about Dennis. Dennis just nice. Yeah. All I'm bridging them think him nice. You thought he was ever taken advantage of?
Yes. It's so funny because among the contributors to my little file here of memories about Dennis is one from my brother George. And he actually ended it.
Oh, hi George, big up yourself.
And he actually ended it on that note, and I just told him no, I wouldn't use that part of it. But that nice guy, you know, that person, I don't know, right? I guess maybe Lego or some
Lego did say that
some of his
sweetness
managers would
was-
have to speak to that. But just the fact that there is not a
Cohesive, structured legacy.
structured
somewhere.
legacy would
Yes.
seem to suggest that, yes.
Usually,
Yeah,
and the saying that nice
unfortunately.
guys finish last has some meaning there, because people who give to others a lot tend to leave back very little for themselves. And I find that in terms of when you're alive and you're visible, it works, but to pull together people around you who will carry it forward for you when you are gone and understand the value of it. That is something that is important, and I'm not sure that in terms of the kind of business focus, which we teach at UA, the ESM program, for example, that focus. Many artists, especially at that era, did not have that business focus. They were doing music because they loved it.
Yeah.
They wanted to share with others internationally and locally. And they were not focused on the business of the music in that very clear regard, so that their legacy would go forward. That's something that people are trying to pull together now, but many artists of that era suffered from that lack of business sense.
Maybe it's also cultural too, because in how we are developed, how we're nurtured, we prepare to live but not to die. So then who thinks of what happens after this stage
One
of
of the
their life
things,
gone?
one of the things about that type of scenario, and yes, you're correct, is the children must understand, which is why I mentioned Sidela, you know, and the structure, right? I don't think Bob actually wrote it down. Maybe Rita had that vision, right? But you children have to learn the business and have to know the business go. And look at Sidela now on top of that empire.
Exactly.
You know, so that is a very important part of the whole legacy building. You know, fine, you know, enough woman and bag of picnic and thing, but you have to understand how the business works, you know.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of JaRIA.
But what I want to say, Donna Colleen, because JaRIA is this is the 15th staging of Reggae Month. I've been involved with a lot of it. And JaRIA and some of the other entities that are involved have things like estate planning seminars, invite people to these seminars so they learn how to plan for the future that goes beyond them, for their families, for the legacy that they are building. And they are usually not very well attended by
the people who need it most.
You know, one of the Reggae University, because we have the public platform, we're going to talk about people's health and retirement planning for people in the industry.
One of the industries that I would most criticize in that regard is the legal profession. I remember there was a seminar up at UWI, right, just to digress from D. Brown a bit, and this lawyer was a guest from, I don't remember the name, but a company in England, and maybe it's just as well. And this thing that you hear every day, boy, better you get a lawyer, better you get a lawyer, better you get a lawyer. And this gentleman went up to speak, and I think maybe I was the only person in the room who applauded, and I'm not joking. Here's what my firm does. We are the lawyer that people keep telling these young artists they must get. Our company is that company. So everybody, you come, you get the proper legal representation for whatever, 15%, 20%, whatever it is. All it takes is one hit, you know. All it takes is one hit, and all of those accounts are settled, right? But the persons have good representation, and that could help structure this thing that we are here talking about. All the lawyers in attendance laughed at the gentleman. All the lawyers in attendance laughed at the gentleman. Do they work free?
Steve, I want to, we're going to wrap soon, but we have to go to one of my favorite artists and we can dance, right?
You can dance.
We all can. George Nooks doing Dennis Brown. George Nooks sings Dennis Brown backed by the Intonation Band. And you know it go. A show business, a show still around. Producer go say wagwan. Those who are on YouTube, remember to subscribe as we talk about, we're ready now. Please enjoy this performance acoustically from George Nooks. That's okay.
Just can't get no love now. Just can't get no love right now. I don't have that money in my pocket, Lord.
One thing with reggae music, when it hits you, you feel just love.
Yes.
Dennis Brown, the great legend. I mean, tell us how he has influenced your music and your musical journey.
Oh God, Dennis Brown, man, Dennis Brown. What couldn't I say? Great brother, you know. The first person who took me into the studio, and I tell you, even before we met, I usually moniker him, sing like him, like try to be like him. He was this cool brother, you know. And for those out there who don't know him, Dennis Brown is one of the best person you could ever meet, you know. And what more can I say about this brother? A great brother. He gone too soon, but it is what it is, and he left some great songs for us to live on to, you know. And we just love that.
Tell us about your album that you are working on and that you've released for us.
We released a lot of albums since we started, about 46 years ago. So the last one was Right Out Your Storm. Through It All, and it's been doing very well and continue to do well, and it's gospel. And we have our Lovers Rock album too, so, you know, we're going all the way. And to all the listeners and to all the fans out there, just listen out, you know what I mean?
Tell us, why did you do a Dennis Brown album? What's the inspiration behind that and the impact of that?
Well, the inspiration was from his passing. Everywhere I go and everything I do, meaning shows, people would like, we want to hear some Dennis Brown, you know, from you. And it's been going on a while for that, and the producer Tad's come up with the idea that we should do a Dennis Brown album. And that was one of the best things that I did. And the album is very wonderful. We have about 30 something tracks in it. Some well-known Dennis Brown that are covered, that is so magnificent. Just go out and get that copy. George Nook sings Dennis Brown. Beautiful album, I must say.
Thank you so much for blessing us with reggae music. Give thanks.
Every time. Blessed love. Put on me.
Huh? Yeah, man.
Promise you won't leave me. Promise you won't hurt me. Promise you won't tell me.
As we rock out of George Nooks, big up yourself, George Nooks, and for celebrating Dennis Brown. We're on set with Steve Golden, my co-host, Professor Donna Hope, and Mr. Ryan Bailey. I've never called him Mr. before. We've been talking about the Crown Prince of Reggae. Just want to recall Trevor Lego Beast Douglas, Dennis' good friend from a long time. We also had Dean Fraser with us reflecting on tours. We've listened to Grub Cooper on audio. We've listened to Mikey Bennett, Gussie Clark. Remind me, Dawn Golding was sharing her own memory. And who else I have left out? Nobody, I'm good. So we just want to wrap, and I just want to ask both of you, if Dennis were around today, what song would he be singing, given the state of the world?
The world is troubled.
What song would you be singing, Donna?
I don't know. I'm trying to see. Probably wolves are trying to kill the sheep and the shepherd. I think this, because we're in a very turbulent time right now here, so I think that probably would be it.
Yeah, I'm with the professor on that.
Turbulent time.
Oh, that's what you'd be singing?
Yes.
He was speaking about it certainly on his shows, because even as fun as he was, he dealt with serious topics. He didn't prolong the conversation on that, but he did.
Okay, give thanks. Yeah, I think he'd be singing peace and love. And love and hate can be friends. We give thanks for you sharing space with us, that you've stayed with us. We started off early, and we're here still, and you're still here. Thank you so much for tuning in to JaRIA's Reggae Open University with Acoustic Conversation as we celebrate the Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. I'm Colleen Douglas, and this is Mr. Steve Golden, who really don't like to talk about himself. Thanks to all our guests, Professor Donna Hope, Mr. Ryan Bailey, Mr. Dean Fraser, Trevor Douglas, we call him Lego, and we'll invite you to tune in next week, Thursday, same time, same place, as we continue the Reggae University series.
Jamaica, the land of Bob Marley, Marcus Messiah Garvey